Patriots Day is a unique Massachusetts holiday. Whether you brave the early morning chill to watch Minutemen face off with the regulars, cheer on Paul Revere as he makes his way through Somerville, line the marathon route, or catch the game at Fenway, it's truly a Massachusetts hometown tradition. For Dan Burke of Boston Free Radio, it's another reason to reconnect with some favorite films.
To many Massachusetts residents, Patriots Day is best known for the Boston Marathon, as it should be. However, Patriots Day is actually a day that commemorates the first battles of the Revolutionary War, the battles of Concord and Lexington. So I decided to make this segment about films that celebrate patriots, not necessarily those that fought in the Revolutionary War, in fact, not necessarily those that fought in a war in general, just somebody who selflessly sacrificed something for their country.
This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard from me.
Unbroken tells the incredible true story of Louis Zamperini, who went through one ordeal after another, and that's not even including training for the Olympics. At first, he was in a plane crash and was lost at sea for 45 days. And if that wasn't bad enough, he was rescued, if you could call it that, by Japanese soldiers and put in a prisoner of war camp that makes Bridge on the River Kwai, one of my favorite movies by the way, actually look like a summer camp.
Look at me. You're nothing.
It's an incredible true story about vigilance, determination, and courage. And it's amazing that this guy got out of it alive and only died just a few years ago. Once you see the movie, you will definitely feel patriotic.
I've submitted your name to be commissioned colonel of the 54th Massachusetts Infantry.
Given that Patriots Day is celebrated primarily in Massachusetts, one great movie to watch on Patriots Day is Glory, which tells the true story of the 51st Massachusetts Regiment who fought during the Civil War. Glory features stellar performances by Matthew Broderick, Morgan Freeman, Cary Elwes, and an Academy Award-winning performance by Denzel Washington.
And you let us head on up there where the real fight is.
It actually didn't get as much accolades at the Oscars as it should have, and it's a travesty that this movie came out in the same year as Driving Miss Daisy, and Driving Miss Daisy won Best Picture. However, it is a great film, and certainly makes you appreciative of those who fought before us. I did say earlier that patriots were not necessarily those who fought in battle, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, directed by Frank Capra and starring the great James Stewart, is an example of one of those patriots. A patriot who didn't fight on the battlefield, but still gave selflessly for a good cause, a national cause. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is a film about a David and Goliath battle, if you will, and it's certainly one of the most influential American films ever made. The Mr. Smith in the title is an idealistic, newly elected congressman who finds, much to his dismay, that Washington is a lot more corrupt than he initially anticipated. But he refuses to be a puppet and still stands up for what he believes throughout the film, refusing to sell out. And there's nothing more American than that.
I was ready to tell you that a certain man in my state, a Mr. James Taylor, wanted to put through this dam for his own profit. A man who controls a political machine and controls everything else worth controlling in my state. Yes, and a man even powerful enough to control congressmen. And I saw 3 of them in his room the day I went up to see him. You said it's a yield. No, sir, I will not yield.
And finally, American Sniper is among the most recent films on this list. The movie tells the true story of Chris Kyle, a U.S. Navy SEAL who served an unprecedented 4 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. This movie gives you the whole scope of his life before enlisting, during his enlistment, and also after, where he experiences post-traumatic stress disorder.
I guess I just needed a minute.
Regardless of how you feel about the Iraq or Afghanistan war, which probably was the main point of controversy of this film, you can't deny the sacrifice that Chris Kyle made for this country. And I could personally say that when I saw this film, I definitely felt a lot more patriotic and a lot more appreciative of the troops. So those are my choices for the best films about patriots for Patriots Day. If those aren't patriotic enough for you, I will have more patriotic films for the 4th of July.
Dan Burke hosts Words on Film, a weekly film review show on Boston Free Radio, a member of the Scott TV family. You can catch Words on Film with Dan at bostonfreeradio.com every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m.